All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Employability Skills Series, where we explore the top skills employers are looking for in candidates. Each week, we will cover a different topic with thoughts and insights from professionals in a variety of industries. I am your host, Megan Morrow, Senior Associate Director of Experiential Learning and Employer Relations. And today I have Nikki Hops as my guest, and we will be discussing the importance of time management in the workplace. Nikki has been with Northwestern Mutual for over 3.5 years. Prior to her current role, she has worked in college athletics for 7 years, helping student athletes prepare for life after sports. And I'm sorry, Nikki is the have it as the campus development director for Northwestern Mutual. Kind of left that piece out. So students that are joining us on the call, you'll see the screen that's being shared with you. You can see that, correct? Does it say, do you see the screen that says our with the QR code? Okay. So if you're joining us on your computer, you can scan the QR code. If not, I'm going to drop a link in the chat pod where you will be able to click on that that'll take you to Engage, where you will be able to mark your attendance for this as well. So make sure that you do that for attendance purposes. So hi, Nikki. Thank you so much for joining us. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey at Northwestern Mutual.
Yes, good morning, Megan. Thank you so much for having me. A little bit about me. I'm a Florida native, so I have not been doing well, like we were talking about earlier with this weather. I'm not built for it. But I'm actually very familiar with Polk County and in the Lakeland area. Grew up more in Plant City. I went to school at Southeastern, right across the lake. And then ventured over here to Orlando for grad school, went to UCF. Stayed in college athletics for about 7 years, like you mentioned, and then decided that I wanted to kind of go more into the corporate world. So hopped over to Northwestern Mutual and have been here for just over 3.5 years. And really, my job is to just run our internship program. So in my 7 years in athletics, I really helped student athletes prepare for life after sport. So my job was, personal, professional leadership development and really working with them on life skills. And then my job now is really to help our interns develop while they're with us, both personally and professionally. So it's a little bit more specialized in the fact that I'm working with them in this industry. But at the end of the day, the skills that I taught my athletes are skills that we try to incorporate into the internship with our students. So most of my, if not all of my professional career has really been based around development with college students.
Love it. Love it. And we've been working together for the past couple of years. So love having these talks with you, especially, you having that campus involvement, really kind of having your thumb on the pulse of what our students are kind of going through. And especially this particular topic being time management, which is relevant to all of us all the time, no matter what phase of life we're in. But our students, particularly, especially our newer students who are coming in, having to juggle this time piece of studying and classes and figuring stuff out. But then you also throw in the athletic piece where you've got the practices and then you've got the games. But then also we've got student organizations and clubs and you've got, trying to factor in fun too. You got to have a life as well. But a lot of our students too are for the first time away from home, away from structure, away from somebody else being there holding them accountable. I know for me, that was a why, rude awakening. No, I didn't have helicopter parents who were on top of me, waking me up. I had to get myself up, but I was still accountable. So if I, missed the bus or if I didn't get myself up, I got in trouble. When I went away to college for the first time, if I missed class or, my parents weren't there going, "Hey, girly pop, what's going on?" I mean, it was at the end of the semester when I brought home bad grades that, whoops, when that was a little too late. So I love this conversation because we don't want it to get to that point of no return. So let's talk about this time management piece and why is it so important and how are we going to help our students get ahead of it before it becomes this beast where they're now, behind the eight ball and now they're trying to play catch up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I had to think of two topics that students probably think, I don't really need this, or this is, a cliche topic, it would be time management and like financial literacy, which is so funny to me because I feel like two of our greatest resources are time and money. And one of those we can never have more of, and that's time. So it's just funny to me because it's one of those topics where it doesn't matter till it matters to you.
Yes.
And it's probably one of the greatest tools where you can set yourself apart. So, why it's important, I think it's important because when you really think about it, the difference between, you know, one individual and a highly successful individual. You think about Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos or whoever you want. You think about, your high level athletes or high level CEOs, your high level executives. They don't have any more hours in the day than we do. And a lot of times you look at that person and you think, man, like whatever, they got just a great break in life or they're just super talented. But I guarantee you, if we looked at their regimen of how they use their time, we would be like, wow, I don't know if I could ever do that, right? If you look
Mhm.
at training calendars, if you look at how they discipline themselves, if you look at how they use their time, a lot of differentiator factors exist there. And so I think what I would say is this topic is crucial. And
Mhm.
a lot of times, the difference between highly successful people and people who might not, get to the point where they achieve their goals is their habits and how they use their time. So that's kind of how I see it. The beauty of this is that you can start really small, right? And I think about, the students who are either on this call or who are going to be hopefully listening to the recording and maybe right now they're not handling too much or they're freshmen or sophomores and they're trying to figure out how does this even really apply to me. And the
Mhm.
beauty of it is that you can start anywhere. Like 10 minutes before this call I just wanted to test it out. I got on ChatGPT and I said I'm a college student at Florida Southern, right? And I'm a full-time student. I have a job. How do I manage my time? And it gave me like 10 things to do, right?
Okay.
And that took me 10 minutes. And so I think the intentionality behind it's going to be really important. So what I can kind of do is really just talk through, where to start and a little bit more about why it matters. Does that sound like a good direction to go in?
Perfect. I love it. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a little
perfect.
bit of structure and like where do we start and where do we go from here?
Yeah. So I kind of mentioned this a little bit, but if you're in your shoes right now for our college students, there's a couple reasons why it matters. One, there's no need for the stress of a busy calendar, right? I'll never forget I was on a call with my interns and a high level advisor in our company, and he looked my interns in the face and he said, "You're not busy." In the most respectful way possible. I don't want to hear that excuse. You're not busy unless you are in school and you are married with kids, which is possible. You think you're busy and you're not busy, right? So you're not, right? And the stress is unnecessary. So having good time management helps reduce that extra stress and anxiety of cramming for exams or rushing from class
Mhm.
to class. It can also help improve your performance academically and professionally, if that's important to you. Um, it's going to help you increase your productivity and efficiency, which right now probably, maybe it's not a big deal to you. Okay, fair. It's a really big deal professionally, very, very
Mhm.
big deal. And then it's going to help you prepare, right, for whatever you want next in life, whether you're going from your undergrad into your master's or into a job, it's going to be very important for you. And um, if you are active in the chat, if you're in here and you are wanting to participate, I would love for you to throw in there what you think are some of the most common excuses as to why, like what stops us from managing our time or what stops us from um, being efficient, you can throw them in there as I keep talking, and I have it open. I'll look through it as we go. But I would love to kind of hear what you all think is the biggest excuse. If I pulled 10 people on campus right now, what stops you from managing your time? Or what stops you from getting stuff done? It's going to be, I don't have enough time. Or I work better under pressure. That's one of my favorites. Why do
Mhm.
you cram? Well,
Mhm.
I work better under pressure. Um, or I don't need to be that rigid. I like a flexible schedule, right? Like all kinds of different things. Um, that's very common, right? I don't need to worry about it, right? Like I go with the flow, right? It's too stressful. Um, and the other thing that you need to consider, I always get it done anyway. Yeah, there you go. The other thing you need to consider is this is probably this generation and maybe the last generation are probably the highest distracted because of the resources. Okay, so your challenges are you procrastinate, you have way too many activities, perfectionism and distractions. Exactly, right? You either are a perfectionist or you're highly distracted. You can overcommit, right? You've got everything at your fingertips, all kinds of activities. Electronic distractions are huge. Screen time, binge watching, any entertainment you want, right? Anything is at your fingertips. And I'm talking to both like my students, prioritizing social time's a good one too, and I'm talking to adults, right? Yes, everything that you're mentioning is a huge excuse and distraction. How do I balance social time with school, with taking care of myself, right? Mental health's a really important topic right now to this generation. Um, and then how do I eliminate the distractions, right? And that's where I really want to try to help, in the next 10 minutes is where do we start? Right? Because at the end of the day, I think we can all agree, just based off the chat, and if we had a poll of people in here, there are a lot of reasons that stop us from doing this, and there's a lot of distractions that get in the way
Mhm.
from managing our time. So let's think about this, right? I like to analogy, and the same analogy as money. If you were meeting with somebody that said, "Hey, you need to start managing your money," and they told you where to start, I would assume they're going to tell you to start with, well, where does your money go? It's the
Mhm.
same concept. Where does your time go? Like, how much screen time are you using? Be honest with yourself how much time you're spending on whatever it is that you use to entertain yourself,
Mhm.
whether it is TikTok scrolling or Netflix or Hulu or whatever it is that you use. Where's your time actually going? Right? Like, if we took an honest
Mhm.
assessment, um, the average amount of screen time used by Americans a day is insane. I should have looked the statistics up. It's ridiculous. I don't know if you know it, Megan. It's got to be, I think it's like
Like
6 or 7 hours a
yeah,
day.
6 hours, I think.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So there's 6 hours right there. Okay. So for those of us that don't know about social time or we're stressed, or there's 6 hours right there. Okay. So where's your time actually going? That's a starting point. Just auditing your time, right? Just one day, like monitor it 1, 2, 3 days. The second thing I would tell you, and I actually make my interns do this. I don't know how the group does this, my two that are on live. If you track your time still in a handwritten calendar, or if you use a app or Google Calendar, yeah, or if you use Outlook, I would tell you that that has to be a non-negotiable. Write everything down in one place. Most of the time, my interns leave this program telling me that's the skill they develop the most because I make them put everything on one calendar. Everything. Their gym time, their class time, their social time, their work time, everything in one place. If you are not doing that already, do it. So for my friends in the Zoom, I would just be curious, are you currently doing that? And what mode do you currently use to track your time? And when I say track it, are you putting everything in there? Are your
Oh,
classes in
mhm.
there? Is your study time in there? Is your social time in there? Like, do you have one spot where everything's being tracked? I would love to know if you do. I've got the chat open, so I'll look and wait and see. Um, that is an easy place to start. So if you don't do that already, you can go find calendar templates free online. I'm sure you can download free apps. You've got access to be able to do that. I would encourage you to start doing that to manage your time. Another thing I would, highly consider is going to be really like either creating a to-do list or trying to prioritize. Okay, I've got some stuff here. I use Google Calendar for classes and events with friends, but not exactly for studying. Okay, that could be an area of opportunity, right? Do we have that scheduled out? But that's good. I write down the homework that I need to do for each day, but I don't manage my time. Okay. Hey, that's okay. I want to appreciate you just putting it in the chat and being willing to share. Maybe that's an opportunity of scheduling your time out more, just to kind of see, try it out, see what it looks like. But one thing I was saying is even if it's a to-do list with priorities, that can be an important place to start, right? To-do lists are important and setting them in a priority basis because all of us have a different time management style. One of my friends in the chat said they were a perfectionist. That is going to allow you to spend a lot of time in one place where maybe it's not needed. Some people are more laid back and they're the procrastinators, right? People are everything's on fire and I need to dump buckets on everything right now, and you've got 50,000 different tasks open and all of it's really, really important. And at the end of the day, you've got to be able to prioritize. So that can be done in a to-do list, that can be done in a calendar. It doesn't really matter how you do it, but making priorities is going to be really important for you to figure out how do I get what done and where do I choose to spend my time? If I only have 2 hours at the end of my day, what's my priority? Do I need to spend time with my friends, right? Do I need a mental health break? Or do I really need to study for this exam? Or do I have an exam and a project the next day and I only have 2 hours? Okay, well, what are we going to do and how are we going to use our time? And that's how you've got to start thinking through it. But if you don't have it written down somewhere, how do you make a decision on how to use your time? That would be my next tip. And some of this is coming from ChatGPT. I'm only using this as an example, not because I didn't have preparation, but I want to show you how practical it is to pull
Hmm.
these tips from your resources and from your fingertips. One thing that you want to consider is really planning weekly and not daily, right? So you want to
Hmm.
be thinking through your week because if you plan only one day at a time, you're not able to fully make the best decisions, accounting for what might be coming at the end of the week that is going to take more time. I would highly encourage you to either take a Sunday or a Monday and look at your entire week, right? As you get older, and you're myself and Megan,
Hmm.
not that we're old, but older than you, you're going to have to start doing it
Good
monthly.
distinction.
And guess what? When you have kids, if that's something that is a goal of yours or you have a family, it's going to be quarterly. And eventually it's going to be yearly.
Hmm.
Because you're not always going to just be accounting for yourself. So right now, just start weekly. I mean, shoot, if you can't do weekly, just do 3 days. Don't just do
Hmm.
one day to really help you plan your time. And this is going to be really crucial for you when you get into your career. Like I can promise you that it is going to be absolutely crucial. Some tools that also can help you. We have amazing phones now. Do not disturb is a great feature. My phone is on do not disturb right now.
Love my do not disturb.
When you're studying, just put your phone on do not disturb, right? And the beauty of it is that you can set it to specific. Like I have my phone on do not disturb, but the people who need to be able to call me can always get through if they need to.
Hmm.
Always. You can
Hmm.
adjust who can get through. You can adjust everything. You can turn it right back on after you're done. But using the tools that you have, we have easy calendar apps. We have phone reminders. We have notes. We have do not disturb. Everything is right there for you to
Yes.
be able to use those tools. If
Let
you're
me
more
jump
of a
in real fast, Nikki, because like I just read a study about like how we're distracted. Like people think
Mm,
that they can multitask, but you can't. You physically can't. You can toggle back and forth between cognitive tasks, but when you are distracted by a ping on your phone, a calendar alert, like a TikTok or an Instagram or a text or a phone call, and then you have to get back to the task at hand, like you just wasted, like even if it was just like you looked at your phone and you didn't even look at the message, but the fact that you got distracted, now you have to refocus on whatever it is you were studying. You just lost several minutes of that study time to refocus, so it's like, that
mm,
do not disturb is a vital feature. And then flip your phone away so that you can't even see it light up. That's another piece because it won't ping, but your phone will still potentially light up. I know I have to turn it away, put it on do not disturb, like maybe for an hour, right? Just do it for an hour, flip it around, and then be focused. Because once your brain is disturbed and you have to refocus, you've just lost, several minutes of that focus. You've got a question there in the chat for you about listening to music. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I just saw that. So I love this question. I really and Megan can she obviously has been doing research on this, so can give her perspective. But I think this completely depends on how your brain is wired and who you are. Like I work with people who, if I put music on in this office, they're done. Like they're done for. They're not working. They're not focusing. They're singing. They're thinking through different things. I actually love listening to music. Yesterday. I was on campus at UCF half of the day. I worked from home the other half of the day, and I had project after project after project. I put on my favorite radio station. It actually really helps me. I can work that way, and I can be productive. I personally think it depends on on the individual and how your mind is wired. You've got to know yourself. So that's what I said. But what did you just put in the chat? Does that mean that it can enhance your brain focus?
So there's gamma waves. It's like noise, like almost like white noise, if you will, but it's sounds, but it's not just like static. So that is something. So if you're listening, so it's music-y, almost like if you think about like massage therapy music or mental
Yeah.
health
Oh
music.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
it's
Yep.
kind of like that. So it's gamma waves, 40 hertz. Classical or jazz. I mean, again, it's very calming. But if you're talking about listening to word, like again, I think like Nikki was saying, it depends on the individual. For me, if I'm studying, because I'm in grad school myself, if I'm listening to music with lyrics, forget about it. I can't tune that out. I start singing and I'm bebopping and for me too, it takes me down a path where I'm like, oh, that reminds me of, and I'm like, now I'm reminiscing. So for me, I can't listen to music with lyrics, but that could be my personality, could be the way that my brain is focused. So I listen to the Hertz or I listen to classical or jazz with no lyrics, and it does help me focus because it also helps me tune out whatever it is. Like if I'm at home with my dogs or my kids, or if they're listening to something, because I'll hear this noise and then I get distracted. And I also can't just be in total silence because then my brain starts wandering. So it depends, I think, on the person. But if you're one to hear the lyrics and start kind of bopping along, then you're toggling back and forth between those mental tasks and you're not truly focused.
Oh, that's a really good question. I
Yeah.
personally, for me, I love it. If I'm working from home, I have to have something. Silence is actually a distractor for me.
Mhm.
But that's, like I said, I could pull my office and it's probably 50-50 split. So, if you guys have any other questions, can you pop them in the chat? Because we've got 7 minutes left, and I would love to just address any questions that this group has that's on. So please put them in the chat. I'll kind of keep wrapping this up, but I would love to answer specific questions you have where we might be able to kind of provide specific feedback. But um let's talk a little bit about how you can boost your productivity. So just making sure that we're staying on the same page here. I've tried to kind of give you an idea of why it's important, right? You want to think through just reducing your stress and anxiety, right? Being able to truly take care of yourself, being able to prepare yourself professionally, be a higher performer. There's a lot of reasons why this is important and why it matters. And then we want to kind of think through some things you can do right now, tangible little things, being more productive with your calendar in terms of tracking a little bit of everything, right? Tracking both that mix of personal and professional, writing it down somewhere, using apps, using the do not disturb feature, uh, understanding what Megan said in terms of multitasking is not a thing. It is really important. But then there are a couple other things we can do to boost our productivity. And these were some really easy things. One, I would ask you, and just I guess can just be more of a rhetorical question. Um, do you have a designated space to work? Do you have a desk, whether you're in your dorm or your apartment? Because when I was in college, I loved doing homework like sitting in my bed. That was a terrible idea. Like I was an
Mhm.
athlete. If I sat in my bed for too long, I'm sleeping. Or it's so easy for me to lay back and say, I just studied for 30 minutes. I can take an Instagram scroll break. Well, that Instagram scroll break turns into an hour. And then I've got to go get dinner before the cafeteria closes. And now my 2 hour study break only yielded 30 minutes of studying. So this might seem maybe unnecessary for you, but I would really encourage you to have some sort of designated, okay, this is where I'm going to work out of that's separate from where you're relaxing.
Hmm.
Another thing I would highly encourage, this is another, I think, differentiator between high performers and those of us that don't find ourselves there yet. It's going to be, what time do you wake up every morning? I tell
Hmm.
my interns that if they complain to me they didn't have enough time, my first question is, what time did you get out of bed? If it is 9 o'clock or later, unless they work a night job, I no longer have sympathy because I'm like, there's about 2.5 to 3 hours, right? Even if you wake up at 7, that's an extra 2 hours in your day. So you can start doing it now, or you can start doing it later. It really doesn't matter. The majority of Americans have a job that starts at 8 o'clock. So
Hmm.
if you find yourself in the minority and you can sleep later, amazing. But what does your routine look like? Are you getting enough sleep? And then what time are you waking up? And this might also make me sound old, but I feel like this generation's getting better and better. Um, there's that saying, you can sleep when you die. Well, not getting enough sleep might actually move up that for you. Like
Yes.
it truly is not just about time management, it's about health and taking care of yourself and your body and your mind. So you can count me old, count me in the group of old people that are telling you this, but 7 to 8 hours is like crucial just to be
It
a
is.
healthy person.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Well,
leave that
if you're
there.
old, Nikki, I'm ancient. So
I'm just imagining the people listening either now and active, and I used to be that person listening being like, I'm fine with 6, like I'll go to bed at midnight and I'll wake up. Yeah, nowadays I can see the benefit.
Mhm.
And I even think our your younger people, right? The people that are influencers, the people that you're seeing that you might be inspired by. Um, those are also the people who are really kind of leading the charge around thinking about things differently, and sleep being absolutely crucial to your health, right? And so I would tell you to have a routine, right? Whether it's I'm going to go to bed consistently at the same time if I can, pending a job
Mhm.
that's required. And I'm going to wake up early. Those are ways you can get your time back. And then the last thing I'll tell you, and then if there are any questions, I can answer those. But making sure that you're being like strategic, like taking breaks. One tip is like a 45-15 rule.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna focus for 45 minutes and then I'm gonna take a break, right? Whether that break is a walk, a sun break, I'm gonna, yes, reward myself with Instagram, whatever it is. Like 45 minutes, 15 is really important. Getting outside is actually really important. You guys literally either live on or attend one of the most beautiful campuses. Like there's truly no excuse, unless I'm talking to online students here, which is totally fine if I am. But if you have everywhere to go study, like truly, Lakeland, it was one of my favorite things. So go study outside, take breaks, get up, like chunk out your studying, because it's going to allow you to not burn out. So those are some easy tips that I would recommend. I'm not seeing any questions come up in the chat, so I do appreciate the time that you all did give. I'm happy to answer any questions if you do have them. If you just hear three things from me, it would be one, um, start worrying about this now, right? You are 100% setting the habits and the trajectory of your future life by how you're spending your time right now. And it's never too early to start building those habits. You can read a lot of books or podcasts around this if you want to really dig into it. Um, Start somewhere. Start with just the apps and availability of what's on your phone. And if you want to be more productive, a lot of the tips I just gave you will really help. Wake up a little bit earlier, go to bed a little bit earlier, and truly understand that the only resource that every single person has the same amount of is time. No matter
Yes.
who you are, what you do, where you're from, what continent you're on, nobody has more time in the day, but everybody uses it differently.
Wonderful. This is like totally invaluable. Everything you said is spot on. Go to bed early, get up early, even on the weekends. Like try to get up around the same time if possible. Yeah, sleep in occasionally, treat yourself. We're not saying that you can't have fun or anything, but like sleeping in till 11 noon. I mean, I've got kids, I've got teenagers. They'll sleep in till noon if they could, if they want to. But get into the habit now. Highly successful people are, regimented. They are disciplined. And if you want to be in that category, these are the things. Nikki knows what she's talking about. You've got a lot on your plate. And if you want to be able to tackle them, these are the things that you need to do. So thank you, Nikki, as always, for sharing your time and your wisdom. This is a great topic. Students on the call and students that'll be listening to the recording later, please reach out to Nikki or I. We're happy to answer questions. You can connect with Nikki on LinkedIn, Nikki Hobbs at Northwestern Mutual. Thank you again, Nikki, for your parting words, your wisdom. Love this talk with you. This is a great topic. Students, thank you for sharing your time. Make sure that you either scan the QR code or you click the link in the chat. Thank you again, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay warm, and we'll talk to you
Thanks.
later. Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
so much.
All right, bye.